So let's say that you do not have the option in your QuickBooks Online to schedule the payments. You don't have that little green button up in the top right corner when you enter in a bill. That's okay. There's always a plan B, right? So you can go directly to the Melio.com website, sign up through their portal, and later you can sync it with your QuickBooks Online. So either you have it activated in your QuickBooks Online and you activate the, let's schedule a payment, and that kind of takes you through the setup process for your Melio account. Or if you don't have that option, you go from the Melio side and then connect it with QuickBooks. So either way, you have a fairly straightforward option, to sign up and get this bill pay going. So I am on the Melio site right now, and we're just going to take a quick look at signing up for a free account. And you'll notice I had to use a incognito window because it kept trying to just make me sign in, over and over again in my endless loop there. So here we are, hopefully with a fresh page. And you'll notice that it gives you the option already, if you have a QuickBooks Online account, that you can sign in using your Intuit information, which is very convenient because it tries to connect, to your existing account, which is great. But you don't have to go that route. You can always just sign up with your email. So just so you know. Once you have created your login, and you are inside your area, you need to get some things set up. So I have started with the profile settings. First, you would go down here to settings, and then starting up at the top tile for the profile settings. And you'll notice I've just kind of generically, filled some stuff in. You would actually be putting your real company name, the profile information for the owner of the account. So typically that will either be the business owner or the bookkeeping and accounting professional who is handling the bill paying for the small business. In this situation, just for an example, I've just put my own information here. And you'll notice down at the bottom, there is the option to email notifications for the bills that are coming close to being due. So if you want those reminders, you can have that added to your email. Personally, I get a lot of email, so I have that turned off because I don't need to be getting notifications for all of my clients when all of their bills are coming due. As an accountant user, it's too much email. So I have that turned off, but what I do like to receive are the notifications when the vendors have deposited the e-check payments they have received. I do find that to be very good as an accountant user because it closes that cycle. I know that the vendor got the payment and we can consider that wrapped up. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. So the next thing you're going to want to do is go into the company settings tab and enter in the company information. So it gives you the option here to enter in a couple of different addresses. So there's the name, of course, at the top. And I had a little fun with that, of course. My veteran friends will understand this reference. And you can enter in, if you have like a mailing address versus the tax entity address, you can put both of those in and have that information added. You can also classify and export the 1099 forms. Personally, I do 1099s separately, either inside of the QuickBooks software or with a third-party software. So I have not used the Melio system for any kind of 1099, but it's nice to know that they have it. And then you'll see here for the legal side of the house, you have the option to enter in the EIN for the company and the legal address. Quite often companies will have sort of like a, customer-facing address, but then they will have a more official address that they file their tax reporting under. And then you also have the option to add a company logo, which is nice because especially if you end up not just paying vendors, but sending requests for people to pay you, it's nice to have that company logo on there. The next section is the manage users. So here is where you can add whoever's going to be handling, the payables. So obviously there would be an owner user as the person who set up the account, or if it's the small business owner or it's their accountant, whoever, somebody has to be the owner. Then you can also add other people as authorized users, like the admin person. Also, you'll notice that there's the option to invite your accountant. This is very important because the accountant user has extra tools and extra functions within their Melio dashboard that help them serve their clients better. Just additional tools and features that just the regular, admin users don't have access to. And that's mainly just because accountants have a little bit more to juggle with all the different clients that they're serving, and they need, different tools and resources available to them. So just know that if you do have an accountant and a bookkeeper, give them that special invite because they're going to appreciate having those extra tools and functionality within their Melio portal. Also, and I don't see it available right now, but usually when you hover over somebody, there is the option to remove a user. I'm not quite sure why I'm not seeing that option right now, but just know that that is normally an option. You can add authorized users as needed, and you can delete them as needed. Sometimes you have, turnover in staff, different situations where somebody would need to be removed. The board of directors changes and the treasurer, has changed. They're no longer needed to be on the account, but there's a new person. Situations like that. And I don't know if there's a limit to how many users that can be on an account, but I'm sure the Melio team could answer that for us at some point. And then you have the tab where it allows you to sync it to your accounting software. So of course, we have the option for QuickBooks Online, and it looks like coming soon there will be some other connections there. So that's nice for, anyone who's using the other accounting softwares. They'll appreciate that. Looks like it's not, oh, I see. Okay. Yep. You would just have to hook those up as needed. I know for the QuickBooks Online, which is what I specialize in for my clients, it just kind of takes you through a sign-in process. So basically, either the small business owner or the bookkeeper or accountant user would have their own, login to connect to that QuickBooks company file, and you would just follow the steps to do that connection. Now the payment methods area, this is where you would be adding in, the business checking account, the business savings account, the company credit card if you decide to go that route, but just know that there is a fee associated with that payment method. If you use the bank account, then you can do the ACH payments and the e-check payments for free. So of course I always recommend that option first, but if you are in a cash flow pinch, Melio does give you the option to use a credit card for a small fee. I think it's very reasonable considering the services that they're offering. But that's up to you, completely up to you and your independent situation. But just know that that is an option if you want to kind of stretch out, the payment a little bit more. And I don't know if there's a limit as to how many accounts you can have, but I know most businesses typically have at least, 4 or 5 different accounts that they would want to get hooked up here. And then billing. Right now, of course, this area is empty because I'm just using it as a test file. But if you had any billing receipts from, fees that you had paid, this is where they would be. And then, of course, they have a fantastic support team. I've talked with several of them. They've helped me through several of just, all of my questions as an accountant user, and they're fantastic. So just know that the chat support and the email support teams, they're great. They do a great job. Every question I've thrown at them so far, they've been able to answer, or at least tell me that, hey, we don't have that feature yet, but it's coming. Thanks for the feedback, that kind of thing. So it's nice when you have a very responsive, support team like that. I really appreciate that as an accountant user. And let's see here. If we go into another area, that's just the settings, by the way. So you'll have to set up a couple of other things as well. So here is the area where you can add in your vendors, if you would like to add in bills to be paid, or you can add in customer profiles for anyone that you want to request payments from. So let's say that you do not already have some type of, merchant account already, and you would like the ability to process, payments from your customers and your clients in a very easy way, without, signing up for sometimes more accounts than you need. So you can also use Melio to ask people to send you payments. So I have not had any experience with that side. I mainly use the paying the vendors side for the Melio system for myself and my clients. But just know that that is an option if you don't already have another kind of merchant account that you're using. And on the vendor side, we can go ahead, let's just play here. We can add in a new vendor. So we will do test vendor. Okay. And we will add this vendor. Now you'll notice on the vendor profile page, we have options to add additional information or to edit, the information here. And then you can add the vendor's payment requests to the inbox. I have not used that feature yet, but I am intrigued. So apparently if they have payment requests, that can be also connected into the Melio system, and then it will show up in the inbox, and we will get to that area later. But for now, I just wanted to show you the different delivery methods to pay this test vendor. So of course we have the ACH bank transfer that does not have a fee, and we have the paper check that also is free. And again, I do find this amazing that they can offer the service for free because, for me and my clients to send a paper check to somebody, you're talking about check stock, envelope stock, stamps, and somebody having to make sure those things get mailed. So the fact that they can do this for free is pretty amazing, and that's why I'm recommending it to my clients. And that's why I use it myself. I believe the way that they are making their money, and as I mentioned in my other video from the QuickBooks Online side of the house, connecting with Melio, that the way that they make their money is if you use a credit card, then of course they charge you a small fee for the service that they are providing, and that is how they are, doing all of this stuff. But I mean, pretty amazing considering, just clicking a few buttons and then they send out the payment for you. Oh, and by the way, this is a fantastic feature that I definitely must mention. If you need to send paperwork, any kind of like attachments along with a payment, they allow you to do so. Now, I don't know what the page limit is, but I imagine, I'm waiting for the team to get back to me on that answer, but I imagine it's at least 1 or 2 or 3, pages worth of a PDF to be able to go with your e-check. And I'll show you how to attach that later, but just know that that is an option. So if you have, just as a quick example, let's say that your business is, sponsoring like the local softball team, or whatever, or you're having a you've been invited to a fundraising dinner and they're having a program, and you can be listed in the program and they need you to fill out, hey, how big do you want your little ad to be in our program? Or like for the sponsoring the team, what do you want, on the signage or on our t-shirts or in our program, etc. Usually they have you fill out some kind of a little voucher paper to send in, talking about, how you want your advertising to be, what level of sponsorship, you're checking on that little box, that kind of stuff. If you have any kind of remittance slip to send in with a check, here's your chance. So it's wonderful that they allow an attachment to go with your check. I have clients right now that are in the process of, hey, now that they've found out that they can send an attachment and not just the check, then the ones that we were still having to generate, physical checks for, now that also is going to be in the online, platform with the attachment and just take care of it for us. So that's a really great feature. I know in the past, the other services that I have researched, either they've not offered the option to attach a PDF, or it's been at a significant monthly fee. So, this is a really, really good option, I believe, for a lot of people to use. The next thing that we will do is go into the pay area. And like I said, for the get paid area, I have not actually used this particular function, but just know that you can request, payments to be sent to you through this platform. But I mainly use it for the vendor bill payment option. Let's go ahead and enter a bill on the Melio side. So of course, normally the workflow is you enter in the bill on the QuickBooks Online side with your attachment, and then you can go into the, schedule payment button from there. But without that option, you can also do it on the Melio side, and whatever you enter in here will later sync up with your QuickBooks Online, and that way there's no double entry. You enter it from one side or the other, they talk to each other, and you're good. So we're going to go ahead and enter it from this side, and we can, there we go, sync with QuickBooks, or upload a bill file, or add it manually. I actually have not used the upload a bill file feature because most of my workday is spent inside of QuickBooks. So normally I'm on that side of the house entering in bills, but it's good to know that there's an option there. I will have to check that out later. So right now we are going to enter in a vendor. Now you'll notice here there's a drop down. So if you have multiple vendors entered into your system, you could probably just drop that down there. But we only have the one right now. And we are going to do $1, which is a minimum transaction amount most of the time. And then you can actually set this up to be a recurring payment. So if you have things, like your office rent, or there are equipment loan payments, etc., regular utility bills that you need to, they don't change every time. You can actually set up a schedule to pay that every month, every week, or have it just be a one-time payment, which is what we're going to do right now. Also, you will see that there is an option for the bill number and if there is a due date. So we're just going to do a little fake bill number there, and then we are going to pick a due date, and we'll just say the 30th. Okay. And then also, if you need to make a note, they give you a place for that here. So we're going to create the new bill. And here's our confirmation that our new bill has been added into the Melio system. So you can continue adding your bills, which most people do in batches. You'll have like the stack of payables, and you'll just enter in one bill after another and get all that done. And then later, whenever your payable cycle is, you'll go ahead and mark those payments. And then we're going to go ahead and say, I'm done here, because I also want to show you something else. Now you'll notice we are in the inbox right now. So the inbox is kind of where if there's an error, some kind of a failure, payment notice, this is where you will see the notification. It's also where your bills kind of hang out, before they've been scheduled to be paid. So it's kind of like the holding tank for anything that is entered into the system, has not been processed yet, has not gone out anywhere. So that is your inbox. And we have the option, as I mentioned before, to edit and look, upload a file. Fantastic. So I'm actually going to just do that right now, and just so you can see what that looks like when there's a little test, PDF uploaded. And here you can see my little test bill file uploaded. And then of course you can delete it or replace this file as needed. But I think it's fantastic that they have the option to add an attachment along with the payment. So, very, very convenient, very handy feature. And then of course you can save or cancel the adding of that attachment. So I'm just going to cancel that for now. And of course you can manually mark it as paid if you are not following through with your bill payment on this gateway for whatever reason, like maybe you've paid it with cash or something like that and you're just trying to mark that it's paid. Or you can continue and schedule the bill payment and then go through those paces. So we are going to look at some other areas first. The scheduled area is where your bills will end up after you've made that payment. And then once the payment has been taken out of the checking account and has been sent on the way, it will end up in the paid area. Now the paid area is really nice because it'll kind of be like a set of tiles as they paid. The newest ones will be on top and the older ones will kind of flow down in like the history. And you can kind of scroll through some of the older ones, and at some point there will be a green indicator that says deposited, and you can see when your vendor deposited your payment. And then what I like to do for my clients is get a print to PDF, of that confirmation that the vendor has indeed received and cashed the check, and I attach that in their QuickBooks to kind of complete, the cycle. So bill received, bill paid, vendors cashed the check, we're done. Because what happens is you're able to reconcile the checking account because Melio has taken the money out of your checking account and sent it to the vendor, but you don't really have any other confirmation after that, for sure what happened. Did they get the check? I don't know. So it's nice to have that deposited notification as part of that bill payment history, because that confirms, yes, they did receive the check, they did deposit it, you're set, that's paid. And then if there's any question, you can always contact the team through chat or email, and they can actually put a trace on the payment and just, see if it has not been cashed, see if some kind of replacement payment needs to be scheduled, that kind of a thing. Right? And they can confirm, on their side that it went through. So we're going to go back to our inbox, and we are going to go through the motions of paying this test bill. We won't be able to get too far on this because I do not have a bank account or credit card connected at this point. But what would normally happen is you would connect up the bank account. And when I've gone through this with clients, there are one of two ways that I've seen the bank connection happen. One of them is the instant verification where you sign in with your log on to the bank, and that connects it up with the Melio system, and you instantly have access, to pay bills, and keep going that way. If it doesn't work, because not all banks, are able to connect and work, it's just the way it is for now. If you don't have that option, then it does the test deposit. So, in 1 or 2 or 3 days, you have to verify that test transaction, and then the bank account, and the Melio system can connect up. So just know that there are a couple of options to do that. So far, I've been lucky with most of my clients that the instant verification worked and we could continue what we were doing. And there's only been like one where we had to wait for the test transactions and go through that process. But, you got to do what you got to do. So we would go through here and then mark it paid, and then we would get the confirmation. I'm going to close out of this right now. But after scheduling the payment, it would then be in the scheduled area. And then you would have the breakdown, just like I show in my other video from the QuickBooks Online side of the house. It looks exactly the same. So it has all your information and the scheduled, the ETA window, all of that kind of confirmation. And again, I like to attach that in the client's books, but they can always come back here as well and just verify, what payments are in the queue, what bills are in the queue, what payments have gone out, and what payments have been deposited. As a side note, the ACH payments do not have a little green, indicator like a deposited check does. But I imagine if an ACH were to fail, then you would get some kind of a notification in the inbox, telling you that something went wrong, on the other side. And I also imagine the money would be returned to the business checking. Typically, that's what happens when I see other types of ACH payments, not go through. They just get bounced back. So just be aware of that. And one more thing that I feel like is important to mention is the amazing support that I have personally received from the Melio team. And if you have any questions along the way, you just activate the little chat support button and someone on the team, will get back to you within a few minutes. And I've even had, questions and conversations kind of continue like the next day, because depending on the situation, sometimes they can't always immediately, get the answer or resolve the issue. But they've always answered everything eventually. So fantastic, yay team, good job. And I'm just going to close that for now, but just know that that is an option to get some support. And there are, the folks on the chat support side of the house within your, Melio portal that can help you with, the day-to-day questions. If there is some kind of a, payment issue or something for the accountant user, an issue that they're running into, sometimes that involves, another team that's like the accountant support team, kind of side of the house. So just kind of be aware there's like different sets of teams helping different sets of users. So that's been very convenient, and I definitely enjoy, having them answer the questions as quickly as they do. So we have reached the end of all the things I would like to show you about the Melio bill payment system, and I hope you have found this informative, entertaining, insightful. I hope this helps you in your business, pay your bills more efficiently, save some money, just make the whole process less stressful, and just be one more thing you don't have to worry about, in an already kind of complicated, busy time. You know what I mean? And if you have found this helpful, please, share this video with other business owners that other bookkeepers and accountants that could benefit, from this platform. Make everyone's lives easier. Also, if you have reached this point in the video and you're thinking to yourself, you know what, it looks awesome, I'm in. I just don't know if I want to set all this stuff up myself, and I'm not 100% sure I am confident in how to use it to pay my bills. Don't worry, we've got you covered. You do have the option of getting in touch with us. Our team has the ability to do coaching sessions. So if you feel like you would like some help setting up your Melio account, going through the paces of entering in some bills, going through the paces of paying them, understanding how the system works, getting some one-on-one, that is absolutely possible. Just see my calendar, I'll have a link, and you can schedule an appointment. For now, I hope this has been helpful. Have a wonderful rest of your day. See you next time.